I think it's safe to say that I have a few hours in this game, which is why I think it's finally time for a tutorial video for my friends who are new players. Congratulations, Campbell and Logan! You are today's lucky winners! This video is made for you! This video will only go over sub and special weapons. Otherwise, this video would be like an hour long. If y'all want another video over different main weapons, gear, or the different game modes, just let me know. To get started, we're going to be talking about sub-weapons. Every special has both a sub-weapon and a special weapon. You use your sub-weapon by pushing the R button. I split them into a few different groups. Sub-weapons you throw, sub-weapons you don't throw, offensive sub-weapons, and defensive/supportive sub-weapons. I'm going to showcase how each one is used, starting with Splat Bomb is probably the most basic sub-weapon to use. Boom. After touching the ground, it goes boom after 1 second. It will start the countdown to explode only after touching the ground. Boom. Suction bombs are very similar to splat bombs, except that they go boom after 2 seconds and can stick to walls. Their explosion radius is a bit bigger and takes a little bit more of your ink tank to use. Burst bomb immediately goes boom after contact with anything. It's basically a water balloon.
I know that's not what I think it is.
A water balloon?
Yes! You just read my mind! What was y'all thinking?
It does more damage if you directly hit the enemy player, and it's also good for inking walls quickly. Sprinkler, a purely passive sub-weapon. Its main goal is to ink the area around wherever you throw it. It can also stick to surfaces. Enemy players can shoot it down so it won't last forever. It also goes away when you get splatted. It technically can do damage, but is more passive and not meant for damaging opponents. Flash Wall lets you throw it on a wall of ink that protects you from enemy fire. It has a limited amount of HP before disappearing, and will gradually disappear on its own. Bombs also explode on contact, so be careful on what side of the wall that you're on. Fizzy Bomb is just like a soda can that explodes when you shake it. Shake your controller around or move your character to charge with the bomb before throwing it. Fully charged Fizzy Bomb will explode 3 times. Just like the most boring sport ever, sorry Canada, you too can throw a curling stone, but unlike the sport, this one explodes at the end. Once you throw the curling bomb, a trail of ink will appear as it's moving, which you can swim behind to get somewhere fast. You can also hold down the R button to make the curling bomb travel a shorter distance. Auto Bomb. Once it touches the ground, it will search for nearby players. If there's an enemy player in its circle, it will walk up to them and explode. If there are no enemy players in the circle, it will just explode wherever you threw it. Point Sensor is a sub-weapon that does no damage. It marks whoever gets hit by it to your whole team. A player marked by Point Sensor can be seen behind walls or other objects. Toxic Mist is another sub-weapon that doesn't do any damage, but it will slow down and drain the ink from enemy players. It's a good support option, but hard to effectively use on your own because it takes a good chunk of your ink tank to throw. It's mainly used for stopping enemy players from running away, or getting on to a certain point that you don't want them to get to. Angle Shooter, or as we in the business like to call it, the Markiplier, shoots a thin line of ink that will mark opponents like the Point Sensor. It has a lot of range and can bounce off of walls. It will mark opponents if they run into the line after it's thrown, but will only do damage if it directly hits an opponent. Torpedo is just like an aerial autobomb. It will look for nearby opponents when thrown through the air, and if it finds one in its range, it will lock onto the opponent, fly in a straight line, and explode once it hits something. These can be shot down by enemy players though, so if one's targeting you, shoot it down. If you roll it across the ground, it will explode a bit quicker, but won't shoot out the extra pellets. Ink Mine is a sub-weapon that has a little activation radius around it. If an enemy player steps in that circle, it will explode, do a bit of damage, and mark the enemy player with the Point Sensor effect. They can also explode if an enemy player shoots ink over it. You cannot place an ink mine within the circle of another one, and you cannot have more than 2 ink mines placed at a time. If you try to place a third ink mine, the first one you place will explode. Beacons are sub-weapons that don't do any damage and are purely passive. Once you or your teammate places a beacon, it will be visible on the map, and you are able to super jump to it at any time. You can place down 3 beacons at a time, and if your sub-weapon is beacons, it breaks when you jump to it. But if your sub-weapon is not beacons, then it has 2 uses before it breaks. Please use your teammate's beacons! Now it's time for special weapons. You can only use special weapons once the meter on the top right of the screen is full. You can charge this meter by inking turf. Inking walls does not fill the special weapon. You activate your special weapon by clicking in the right stick, and activating your special completely refills your ink tank. For each special, I will showcase how it's used on the training dummies, and then try to show you a clip of me using it in an actual match. First one here is Kaizuka. You shoot 3 large shots in an arc. It's pretty self-explanatory. Big Bubbler is similar to Gibraltar's dome shield from the hit game Apex Legends.
Throwing some cover for my brothers.
You place down a dome shield that functions like both a splash wall and a beacon. Your team can super jump to the bubbler until it's destroyed, and enemy players can deal more damage to the dome by attacking the beacon in the middle or the color on the top. Bombs also explode on contact, so be careful leaving the bubble. Zipcaster is the Splatoon equivalent of Spider-Man. You push the R button to zip around and fire your main weapon with ZR. Colliding with opponents while using Zipcaster also does damage. After the special is over, you will land where you activated it, and this spot is marked for enemy players, so choose a safe spot before using it. Tenta Missiles is a special that you can effectively use from anywhere on the map, even in your base. Once you activate the special, you look for enemy players to enter your reticle for a maximum of 5 targets. Once you decide to fire, missiles will come down from above to the enemy location. Inkstorm is a special where you throw a capsule that activates once it hits anything. Then a rain cloud with your ink will travel in the direction that you threw the capsule in for a few seconds. The rain inks a little bit and does some decent chip damage, but is more passive a special instead of an offensive one, kind of like the sprinkler.
Then how do you know?
You splatted that player with Inkstorm.
I hit a camera. Yeah, and this time I've got him. See? You see? Oh, you don't see it? He moves! Right there! Wait! Right there! Coincidence? I think not!
Thank goodness they added Spirit Bomb to the game from the hit show Dragon Ball Z, because that's what it feels like going against a special.
Oh! Everyone! I need you all to lend me your energy! Why don't you take this?
You're really good.
See ya!
you activate Booyah Bomb, you gain some super armor and begin charging up the special. You can charge it yourself by spamming Booyah or down on the D-pad. Your teammates can help you charge it by spamming Booyah, and they'll even have some of their special builds charged by doing so. Once it's fully charged, they'll throw it and it'll explode. Wave Breaker. This special is on my main weapon, and I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty bad. You throw this pop and catch toy looking thing on the ground, and it marks nearby enemies as it lands for maybe a second, then fires 3 shockwaves on the ground that deal 45 damage each, and mark the opponent like a point sensor. The big drawback about this special is that the shockwaves don't travel upwards, and you can simply just jump over it. Ink Vac is a supportive / defensive special that absorbs enemy ink in the vacuum and can even eat up opposing enemy specials like Booyah Bomb and Trizuka. Once you finish absorbing ink, you fire a retaliation shot, and the more ink that you absorb, the larger the blast of your shot. If you are close enough to enemy players, it will also give them the Toxic Mist effect, slowing them down and draining their ink tank. Ink Vac also damages shields and can fully eat up sub-weapons like the Splat Bomb and Suction Bomb. Instead of one really big JBL speaker, Killer Whale 5.1 has 6 really small JBL speakers. After activating the special, you can look around and target up to 3 different players for the speakers to target. You can still use your main and sub weapons while this is active.
And now, it's time for that moment you've been waiting for. 1,
Inkjet is like an ink jetpack. You shoot these mortar shots that explode on contact. A direct hit is enough to one-shot opponent, while indirect hits can do 30 to 50 damage depending on how close you were to hitting them. Like Zipcaster, once the special is over, you will land where you activated it. Ultra Stamp is another pretty simple special. If you run over an opponent, they'll get splattered. It also easily eats up shots and sub-weapons, so be careful trying to shoot it down. You can throw the Ultra Stamp, but the special will end as soon as you throw it, so try not to throw it as soon as you activate it. This special is not invincible, so be careful pushing into multiple enemy players. Crab Tank is a tank in the shape of a crab. The tank itself has a lot of HP and can shoot long-range bullets that increase in fire rate with ZR and can fire mortar shots with R. Bombs explode on contact when thrown at the crab tank, and you're vulnerable from the back, so make sure there's no one behind you before using it. You can push and hold ZL to roll up into a ball and become invincible for a bit. Reef Slider charges forward, then explodes. You're invincible while using it, but vulnerable for a bit after it's over. You can make it explode earlier by pressing ZR. This one is also pretty self-explanatory. Go forward and go boom. Triple Ink Strike is a special where you throw 3 capsules that will call down an Ink Strike from above that inks a circle and deals lethal damage. This is one of those specials that's not very good by itself, but great with good teamwork and in the heat of battle. Once you put everything together, you can do things like this. Tacticooler, also known as Soda! This is a supportive special that benefits the whole team. You throw down the Tacticooler, and each teammate can go next to it to grab a drink and boost all of your stats. You swim faster, run faster, recover ink quicker, super jump almost instantly, and even respawn in less than a second with Tacticooler active. You also don't lose any of your special gauge when you die with Tacticooler active. This special is especially useful when pushing in ranked modes. Super jumps! You shoot a bunch of super jumps that look like a super jump spot with your name on it that will land and explode after some time. These can be shot down like torpedo, but they're mainly used for inking turf that you normally couldn't reach. If used at the end of the match, they will not explode once the match timer reaches 0, so use them before the last second.
500 cigarettes.
Defeated!
Kraken.
Release the Kraken!
It takes a second to activate, so it's not the best panic button, but it is invincible, and it can charge forward towards opponents. Kraken functions just like squid form, except you're bigger and swim over the ink rather than through it.
My name is Xander Dingus.
Triple Splashdown is the panic button. If you're ever too close to an opponent, use this special. You can get shot down, but if the opponent is in the splashdown radius, they're probably going down too. Inkback, Crab Tank, and Ultra Stamp can't defend against this special because it attacks from all angles. With Splatter Color Screen, you throw a Bubble Blower capsule at its stance and makes this big wall that slowly moves forward. Enemy players who get hit by it take 40 damage and have their screens at grayscale for a little bit. In case you're wondering, this is what it looks like. It's hard to see through the screen, so it's best used as an escape plan or to block off a specific area.